Have you ever wondered how the seeds of Canada's current situation were sown? Justin Trudeau, the current Prime Minister of Canada, didn't have the typical upbringing most Canadians experience. Born into a world of privilege, his childhood was painted in hues of power and prestige. His father, Pierre Trudeau, once held the same position as Prime Minister, a role that afforded young Justin a bird's-eye view of the political landscape from an early age. An integral part of this privileged childhood was the ability to travel extensively with his father. This wasn't your typical family vacation to the nearest beach or amusement park. No, these were sojourns to countries with vastly different political systems than Canada's own. Communist nations were frequent destinations on the Trudeau family's travel itinerary. These visits were far from being mere sightseeing trips. They offered Justin an up-close look at political ideologies that were, and still are, considered controversial. Experiences like these during such formative years undoubtedly left an indelible mark on Trudeau's worldview. They shaped his understanding of governance, of power, and of societal structures. These early experiences, it seems, laid the groundwork for his political philosophy, a philosophy that has since guided his policy decisions. But privilege isn't merely about opportunities. It's about insulation from the struggles faced by ordinary folks. Trudeau grew up shielded from the harsh realities of life that most Canadians grapple with daily. The struggle to make ends meet, the fight for equal opportunities, the constant balancing act between work and family. This insulation, some might argue, has translated into a lack of understanding, a disconnect between Trudeau and the very people he is meant to represent. As we can see, Trudeau's upbringing was far from ordinary, setting the stage for his future political career. This, however, is only the beginning of our story. As we delve deeper, we'll uncover how Trudeau's privileged childhood and the ideologies it fostered have influenced his tenure as Prime Minister, and consequently the state of Canada today. Stay with us as we unravel this complex tapestry of power, privilege, and politics. So how did this privileged upbringing translate into Trudeau's leadership and its impact on Canada? Well, it's a tale that many Canadians know all too well. Under Trudeau's tenure as Prime Minister, the nation has seen a rise in some of the most heartbreaking societal issues. Homelessness, for instance, has become an even more pressing issue, with more and more Canadians unable to afford a roof over their heads. In tandem with this, high interest and mortgage rates have made it nearly impossible for the average citizen to own a home, and we can't forget about the increase in drug addiction rates. This scourge has gripped our cities and towns, tearing families apart and leading to an unprecedented health crisis. Then there's the rise in crime rates. Safety, a fundamental right of every citizen, seems to be eroding under Trudeau's watch. And if that's not enough, allegations of government corruption have cast a dark shadow over his leadership, leaving many Canadians disillusioned and distrustful. Throughout all of this, Trudeau has often shown a dismissive attitude towards those who dare to disagree with his policies. It's an attitude that seems to suggest that anyone with a differing opinion is simply not worth his time. And let's not forget his costumes and makeup. Trudeau seems to have an affinity for the extravagant, often appearing in elaborate get-ups that suggest a focus more on image than on substance. It's a spectacle that has left many Canadians wondering where his true priorities lie. In the grand scheme of things, Trudeau's leadership has led to far-reaching consequences that have been detrimental to many Canadians. From economic hardships to societal woes, the impact of his reign has been felt by everyone, casting a dark cloud over the nation. And so, we find ourselves asking, is this the Canada that we want for ourselves and for future generations? Is this the legacy that we wish to leave behind? The effects of Trudeau's leadership have been far-reaching and detrimental to many Canadians. But remember, the power to change our future lies in our hands. The road to recovery may be long, but together, we can weather any storm. Given these challenges, one might ask, what is the path forward for Canada? A question that resonates with many. The answer lies not in a person or party, but in the values that this country was built on: integrity, resilience, and a profound sense of community. Now imagine a leader not preoccupied with personal image or international popularity, but focused on the welfare of the Canadian people. A leader who prioritizes the needs of the many over the few, working tirelessly to rebuild the foundations of this great nation. A leader who understands the importance of transparency, accountability, and the rule of law, who is committed to rooting out corruption at all levels of government. Consider a government that addresses the housing crisis not as an afterthought, but as a priority, recognizing that every Canadian deserves a place to call home. A government that takes concrete steps to reduce interest and mortgage rates, making homeownership an achievable dream for all, not just a privileged few. Envision a Canada where drug addiction is treated as a health issue, not a criminal one, where rehabilitation and support are readily available to those who need it most, a government that actively works to reduce crime, not by turning a blind eye, but by tackling the root causes: social inequality, poverty, lack of education. Moreover, think of a leader who respects differing opinions, who invites dialogue and discussion, rather than suppressing it. A leader who understands that a vibrant democracy thrives on the exchange of ideas and the ability to challenge those in power. And finally, consider a government that forges its own path, independent of foreign influences, that stands strong on the global stage, representing the best of Canadian values. The future of Canada lies not in its past mistakes, but in its potential for positive change. The road to recovery may be long, but with the right leadership grounded in the values that make us Canadian, we can rebuild, renew, and emerge stronger than ever. Because the strength of Canada lies not in its leaders, but in its people. So, where does this leave us, the Canadian people? We're at a crossroads where our choices, our voices, and our votes will shape the future of our beloved country. It's more than just a mark on a ballot. It's a declaration of our values, our hopes, and our aspirations for Canada. Every vote is a powerful tool, a means of communicating what we want for ourselves and our fellow Canadians. It's a chance to remedy past mistakes, to right the wrongs, and to embark on a path towards a stronger, more united Canada. But casting a vote is only the first step. We need to stay informed, to question, to engage in the political process. It's only through active participation that we can bring about the changes we want to see. The future of Canada is not just in the hands of its leaders, but also in the hands of its people. It's time for a change, and that change starts with us.